Bookworm. So today I'm going to do a book review of the book The Romantic by Felix Alexander. I don't have a physical copy of the book because my copy is an ebook version. So I will link in the description to the actual book, so you better have a look. I'll link to Amazon so you can take a look at it. So I'll get on with it. It's actually, honestly, when I first, got the book and I had a look at it, I thought, oh, it's going to be a romance, and I'm not the biggest fan of romance novels, but I actually really, really liked this one. To be honest, I think I liked it because it wasn't so much a romance as it was a romantic literary fiction, which was something that I really got into when I started university, and it was something that I was introduced to in university, and it was great. It isn't just your typical romance novel of, girl meets boy or boy meets girl kind of thing. It was actually very much about life and about learning lessons about love and romance and how people learn to connect and how relationship works and friendships work and that kind of thing. And it was really well thought out, really well planned out, and I actually really, really liked it. I read it pretty quickly. Most of it I took a little while to get started, but once I got into it, because I've been really busy, but once I started reading it, it was pretty much go, 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 go. I just couldn't put it down. It was amazing. I found that, it definitely exceeded my expectations, and I would recommend it for sure. So I'll just go into the basics of the story. So it starts off after this guy, Hadriel, has died, and the Angel of Death has granted him one last wish, which is that he can keep a promise to someone he loves, and that's all you really get told at the start. And then it kind of goes through his life after he meets Sophia Paula, this girl in his hometown, and through his life from that point, and how their friendship blossoms and what happens to him and how he goes through life and moves around and how they sort of grow distant and they sort of don't see each other so much anymore, and things, the other relationships he encounters, the other relationships she encounters, how things happen all the way until he dies. And it's really interesting because it isn't just, again, it's not a boy meets girl situation where it's like, oh, I've met this Sophia girl and she's lovely and she's gorgeous and everything's going to be fantastic and we're going to find a way no matter what. It was actually very realistic. I caught myself relating to a lot of the characters, surprisingly. I didn't think that I would relate to many characters, but certain things that characters did, certain things that characters said, they were very much like how I behave or people I know behave, and I thought that was really interesting because it was very authentic and very realistic. It wasn't just typical, oh hi, I'm this person, I've met you now, we're clearly meant to be, oh no, something tragic happens and whatever. It was better than that. It was life. It was a realistic depiction of life and love and relationships, and it definitely was not what I was expecting. It definitely exceeded my expectations. It was fantastic. I'm kind of a bit speechless for how good it was. It was really, again, not what I was expecting, but it was great. I really, really loved it. There were bits that were tragic. Heartbreak was real. It didn't just show people being heartbroken in the ordinary sense. It talked about relationships that were functional, relationships that weren't, being uncertain. There's one character, Celeste, that comes in partway through the book, and she comes in and out of the book a few times, but the point to her story is essentially her first ever relationship was definitely very unstable, not functional, not healthy, and how that's impacted her life and her past relationships afterwards. And I think that was very realistic for me to sort of look at that and go, well, no, that is how someone would react. They wouldn't be, not normal, but how do I put it? So she had, her first partner was manipulative, and he was sleeping around behind her back and things like that. And then later, when you see the character come back, Celeste come back after, when she's older, you see that kind of mistrust and the fact that she's been hurt before impacts her relationships and how she relates to people and interacts with other people when she tries to get into relationships. It's interesting, it's realistic. I think that was probably the best thing about this book, was how realistic it was. As much as some bits were so tragic, like I was definitely tearing up a few times in this book. Despite how tragic it was a realistic kind of tragedy. It wasn't like a Romeo Juliet excessive dramatic kind of tragedy. It was life, and how sad life can actually be, and how, you know, when you put your faith in someone else in a relationship and you have to trust them, sometimes that doesn't go the way you think it is. Sometimes some people are trustworthy, sometimes they're not. And it was just amazing how realistic it was and how wonderful it was, and it was beautifully written. I really loved the way this prose was written. It wasn't just typical story. There was so much to it. There were layers. It was weaved. It was just beautifully constructed. And yeah, the realism, for sure, authentic realism, it was fantastic. The only probably negative that I can think of in this book is a few people get referred to by their full names a little bit too often. I think after a while I kept getting to the point where I was like, yes, I understand there's only one Celeste in this entire book. Yes, I understand there's only one Sophia in this entire book. Yes, I understand there's only, one Hadriel in this entire book. I don't really need to hear that it's Sophia Paula and Celeste Williams almost every time they're mentioned. But otherwise, I think the book was fantastic. Like, that was probably the only thing, and it was a minor irritation, and it wasn't, honestly, like, everything else probably outweighs that irritation of hearing people's full names a little bit too often. But yeah, otherwise, it was a fantastic book. Really, really good book. I would recommend it for people who like romance or like literary fiction, or just like fiction that is realistic and very, very close to the reality that we currently live in. I mean, I don't know if angels actually exist, so that part might not be quite realistic, but the rest of it, the relationships, the way people interacted with each other, that was so real, and that was so pure and beautiful and just authentic, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. So if you like romance, you like literary fiction, you like that kind of thing, go for it. It is fantastic. It is amazing. Do it, read it. It's awesome. I don't think I can sing its praises enough. It's amazing. It blew me away. Read it. It's great. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I love it a lot. I love it a lot. Yeah, so it's called The Romantic by Felix Alexander, and I recommend you take a look at the link that I will put in the description, and go enjoy it and read it and love it and love life and love people, and yeah, it's awesome. So anyway, to wrap up, pretty much 9 out of 10, no, 9.5 out of 10, because it was really very good. 9.5 out of 10, definitely would recommend. Buy it, read it, get it, it's awesome. Yeah, that's, yeah, just fantastic. Anyway, if you like this review, give it a thumbs up, or if you're on Tumblr, a like, and share it around as well. If you're on Tumblr again, reblog, and I will see you guys next time.